Hi everyone, happy Saturday. I wanted to pop on live today. I know a couple of you were asking about yoga. Yesterday I did a live yoga, and you can find this just a little, I guess it's below in the stream here. I've also shared it to my private Facebook page and my Healing Anxiety Holistically group, so feel free to join the group as well. Today, what I'm going to be doing is talking about strategies for anxiety, because I think at this day and age and this moment in time, a lot of people are struggling with anxiety. I will be doing another one tomorrow again at 1 o'clock, and tomorrow's Facebook Live, I'm going to be doing a meditation for about 20 minutes actually. So if you're looking to actually implement some strategies and join a group meditation, that's a great option to do. So without further ado, I want to talk about how to manage anxiety, because I think everyone's anxiety is running really, really high. So I'm going to start with some pretty basic ideas, and then I'm going to go in a little bit more in depth to the cognitive piece of things towards the end. Okay. So the first thing we want to think about when we're thinking about anxiety is really calming the body down. Often what happens when you're anxious is that you're releasing stress hormones like cortisol, and those hormones are really revving the body up. Also, if genetically you're one of these people like me who breaks down neurotransmitters like dopamine and adrenaline really slowly, which means that they're going to be in the brain for longer, which means they're going to be impacting you more intensely than somebody that is going to be breaking down those neurotransmitters rather quickly. And so one of the things you want to do is you want to start to calm your body so that you're stopping that cycle of anxiety. So you're stopping the production of cortisol or slowing it down, right? And you're slowing down the production or release of those neurotransmitters into the brain. And one of the ways to do that is to have an Epsom salt bath. So what a lot of people may not realize is Epsom salts is actually magnesium sulfate, and magnesium is one of the most calming minerals. It's really good for heart health. So if you're finding during this time you're having heart arrhythmias, it's a good sign that you may be low in magnesium. And it's a very, very soothing and calming mineral for your body. So this is something you can absolutely get in a magnesium or Epsom salt bath. You can also just take magnesium. And so you can take some pretty high doses of magnesium. Sometimes it gives people loose stools. So that's probably your body's kind of capacity for taking magnesium. But magnesium can absolutely be a very calming mineral and can help us. What happens when you're stressed is that you're going to be burning through more of your minerals. So you're going to be burning through your magnesium. So the more stressed that you are at this point in time, the more you're going to burn through your magnesium reserves. And it can actually take years to build up those reserves. So supplementing with magnesium and doing an Epsom salt bath is an excellent way for you to manage your stress. So the other thing that can be really helpful to manage stress is yoga. So head on over. I actually have a free yoga class, a course that I'm going to be linking below, that you can head on over and do lots of techniques around breath work and calming the body. There's a lot of different types of yoga out there, and the type that I really prescribe to when we're talking about stress reduction is really the calm and gentle yoga. So we're not looking at, hot, intense, energetic, exercise-based yoga. We're looking at a yoga where you're moving really slowly and you're kind of allowing the mind to focus on the connection between breath and body. So it becomes a very meditative experience for you. It becomes something that's very, very calming, and it gives your mind something else to focus on. Remember I said at the beginning, you want to stop that looping. So when you're breathing really slowly, and you're focusing on the movement, it's going to eventually slow the production of stress hormones down, right? It's going to slow the production of cortisol down because you're spending this time in this calm space. And what the breath is doing, especially if you're doing Ujjayi breath, is it's actually activating your vagal nerve. And your vagal nerve is really important for activating your parasympathetic or your rest and digest system. So the vagal nerve is basically telling your body like, hey, chill out, it's safe. And so when you're doing a yoga practice for 10 minutes, for 30 minutes, for an hour, it's basically showing you just that, like, hey, calm down. This is safe. Like, it's safe in this space. And so it's eventually going to calm your body down. Breath works very similarly. So I talked a little about Ujjayi breath. You can do 3-part breath. And what I usually recommend people do is that they go and download Insight Timer. Okay, so Insight Timer is a free app, so don't let this fool you. It's actually free, and when you download it, you can find guided meditations, because I know a lot of people, it can be really hard to sit there and, focus on your breath for 5 minutes with nothing reminding you. So this is a really great option for you, especially if you're new to meditation. And even if you're not, you can find lengths of meditations from 6 minutes to 30 minutes. So it's just a really, really great option for you. The other thing you can do is, to get outside. Nature is very, very calming, and so is grounding. So when you're placing your feet on the floor, barefoot, it can be cold depending on where you are, but when you're doing that, what you're doing is you're neutralizing the body's charge. So if you think about it, as humans, we were kind of created to have that discharge through the earth. And there's been some really cool studies done. For example, one study was done of this woman who had diabetes, and she stood on a grounding mat, or I guess she didn't stand, but she had a grounding mat underneath her for a little bit of time every day, and sores that she'd had for years as a result of her diabetes went away. So there is literally something to grounding. I don't know what the shipping situation is like, but you can also order grounding mats, and grounding mats are really going to allow you to ground as well, right? So just getting outside and walking in nature is another really great way to get your mind off of what is going on. Full-on distraction techniques can be helpful. For example, watching TV for the short term can be beneficial. You want to really be careful about what TV shows you're watching. If you're watching TV shows that are quite, active, like Homeland, or something that's going to get your heart rate or adrenaline going, that's probably not going to be calming you down. But if you're watching shows that are comedy-based or that are really getting your mind off of what's going on, that can actually give your body a chance to stop producing those stress neurochemicals and to allow your body to calm down. Okay, so those are some really great kind of calming your body down techniques. There are a few herbs that you can use to calm your body down as well. One of my favorite herbs is CBD oil, and CBD oil can actually be really great for the immune system. So I know everyone's talking about immunity right now, and CBD oil is a really awesome thing for your immune system. So for those viewers who are watching this and are in Canada, you can actually just call up the Apollo Clinic, and the Apollo Clinic will give you an appointment through the OTN network. So it's basically all online, and then they will send a prescription to somebody who can then ship you different types of CBD. So they're going to do a medical history. They're going to talk to you about dosage. And so that's a really, really great option for times like this. They've actually had some increased usage of CBD oil, not surprisingly. Some other things that can be helpful, especially if you have the genetics that I talked about earlier, where you're not breaking down your neurotransmitters, very quickly, is L-theanine. So L-theanine can be very, very calming for people. Something else that can be calming if you have a leaky blood-brain barrier, which a lot of people do these days, and that's a whole other topic I'm going to get into, but something else that can be absolutely really helpful is GABA. And if you take GABA and you notice an instant calming effect, it's likely that you had a deficit in GABA and that you have a leaky blood-brain barrier, because the GABA molecule is technically too big to pass the blood-brain barrier. So GABA is an inhibitory molecule, so it's going to start to calm your entire system down. So if you go to your local health food store, you're going to get a lot of options around calming herbs. There's lots of different blends. You can also get adrenal support. Rhodiola is an option. Ashwagandha is another great option. So you want just an adaptogenic overall adrenal support, and that can really help your adrenal glands. So some of the things that I'm talking about here obviously aren't root causes, but they're going to help you in acute times like these when you don't really want to or are able to get to those root causes that are driving things up. And obviously with everything that's going on, there's just a heightened level of emotion. So the other thing that you can do is to really start to pull apart your thoughts. And a lot of what's going on right now in the media and in our minds is catastrophizing. And basically, this is a thinking trap that the brain has, where it's not necessarily true, but it's somewhat useful in certain situations, is to predict the worst case scenario. And so what's going on right now is we're predicting the worst case scenario and then living things out as if the worst case scenario was true. And so what I urge you to do is to go back to the research, go back to the statistics, and really look at what's going on with the worst case scenario and how likely that is for you. And start to really think about putting your worry in context, right? And that's going to be really, really important. The other thing we want to do with worry is we want to look at what the opposite, so worry is fear, and the opposite of fear is love. And so what we want to be doing is, really focusing on bringing in love. And this is something I'm going to be doing a little bit more of tomorrow during the meditation that I'm going to offer, but really focusing on imagining love in your body, really thinking of memories that, were joyful or pleasant for you, and bringing those memories in your body so that you're allowing your body and your mind to remember a different state. Because what can happen is the mind will start to loop on that worry. And I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing this right now. I know this is something that I have in the past struggled with, and I still at times struggle with, is you get stuck on a thought and then it loops and loops and loops. And so you really need to switch it. And one of the best ways I've personally found to switch it is to spend about 5 minutes in a past memory. And when you're doing this, when you're spending that 5 minutes in a past memory, you really want to ground yourself, all of your senses in that memory. And so your body actually feels like it's there. What happens is that your body, sometimes the mind can't necessarily tell the difference between what's accurate with reality and what's actually happening in your mind. And so this is where, visualization and things like that are actually extremely powerful tools to shift you out of worry. So if you're going back into those spaces of love and your body's feeling that love, that can be another really great option to switch out of worry. Okay, so I hope that some of these strategies were useful for you. I kind of gave an entire grab bag of strategies, and the idea is for you to gravitate to what's working for you. I am going to do another talk probably next week about some deeper dives into COVID-19 and what you can do to protect your immune system. But this one was specifically focused around anxiety because, our mind and our body are connected. And when we're in a constant state of worry, this is absolutely going to be affecting your immune system, right? Because you're going to be sending neurotransmitters that are then going to be released in the body. So you're then changing the energy of the body. And when you change the energy of your body, then you're changing your body's immune system. And so everything is all connected. So if you're able to keep your vibration higher, if you're able to be in that state of love and that state of peace, that's also going to be better for your body. So some, tangible ways is that you can pick a strategy or two or set aside a chunk of your time in the morning or in the evening to really focus on doing, even if it's just 10 to 20 minutes, some of the strategies that I've shared with you, that can absolutely go a long way. And again, if you haven't already checked out it's about 30 minutes, the yoga from yesterday. That's a very gentle yoga where I talk about some breath work, and that can absolutely be very helpful for you. If you have any questions or want more information, you can just message me privately or message me below. And I'd love to hear from you guys, how are you doing throughout all of this? I do have a private membership group right now, and, we're talking a little bit more in depth about, protocols and strategies and things like that. And so I'd love to hear from you what's going on in your mind and how you're managing the anxiety. I will see everyone tomorrow at 1 for meditation.